All right, today we are going to be trying to save Diane. This little mower right here. This is a 158cc Briggs and Stratton later model, because you can see it's rated not by horsepower but gross torque. It's called a 500 series 5.00. So that's what that means is it's 5 foot-pounds of gross torque, because they had to quit rating them based on horsepower, because back in the good old days, as time went by, the horsepower wasn't accurate, so they went by gross torque. So this is sort of a later model pulsar jet, and it's got the typical linkage. Does not operate off of a automatic governor. If it had that, it would be a little metal rod would be coming out here, connected over here to a governor, and then swings up this way and connects. Then this air vane and all that wouldn't even be involved. It wouldn't even be there. So this is the old classic air vane type controls on the RPMs. So that's what we're dealing with. It's a 21-inch blade. It's a high lift. That means it's got a lot of room up there to mulch, see, because there's no place over there to throw the grass out, so it's going to mulch. They designed it so it has a lot of room. And then it takes a bag, which is long gone. But anyway, this is Diane, and I've taken the gas tank off in the carburetor, and you can see why. That is full of dirt, because it's run without an air filter. This is one of my many tanks I have around here, which I'm going to put on this. So we're going to put this together. And now she did fire, Diane did fire when I squirted some starting fluid into the manifold. So, but who knows if she's going to smoke like crazy or not, and maybe too worn out to repair. But if she doesn't smoke like crazy, then this will end up being a good little mower, because it did fire. So let me set the phone in the holster, and we will begin. I picked out the 5 screws here. They're going to go in this tank, and this is worth talking about. One of the many sites I am a member of, somebody was talking about not having a pulsar jet run right, and surging or whatever, and people were advising the guy that, oh, you've got to have the air filter on there, and the air filter screw for it to run right, so you can test it. And that is not correct. In the old days, the way the carburetors were, there actually was a screw that went down through the center of the carburetor. Let me show you. That's the one that he put on here. In the old days, there was you had a throttle here, and you had to have that screw in there for that throttle to open and close and stop where it's supposed to. Well, that's not the way these are made now. The throttle is right there, and in fact, you'll see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 holes, and only 5 screws here, and that's because you don't need 6 screws. And the reason for that is this one right here, this screw right there, screw hole, that's for the air filter screw, which goes in the center of that carb, and there's a hole there, and that air filter screw goes through there, comes out, and screws into that tank, okay? And this dead ends into metal, and you actually want to hear that, because what happens with these is, this is a good example. You get so much crud in there that if you go in here, that I'm not hearing metal, and that's because there's dirt and filth and gunk in there, which means the carburetor or the air filter screw is going to go in there, but it's not going to seat. And so you'll be trying to bear down on that air filter screw, and it's not going into the threads because this hang on a second, this thing gets so full of dirt because it's open to dirt in this case because they had no air filter on it. And so what you want to do when you get a tank like this, and I've cleaned it, it's ready to install, it's all, you know, pretty shiny and clean, and I've gotten after it with the carb cleaner, and I've made sure that this is cleared out with carb cleaner and sticking a little screwdriver with a paper towel and getting that out, because I want that air filter screw to be able to go in there and catch those threads. All right, so so that's the before. See, so this one day what I do is I rotate these. So this will one day be on another mower. I'll clean it up, clean it out, get that carburetor off. They put another on. They try and save that carburetor because I'm trying to save everything. And this is a good example of that today, because what I'm showing you is this is an old diaphragm, not a new one. And I've saved it because I can tell it's in good condition. So we're going to install an old diaphragm. And if it doesn't work, actually I like this one better. I pulled out two that were good. Okay, so this one is pretty good. You know, it's got some elasticity. I don't think there's anything out of it that I'd say would cause trouble. And this, my friends, is an old gasket. I save all these, never throw these away. These things are tough. You need these if you ever install one of these aftermarket carburetors. They'll have the cheap little gasket in there, and it may leak. You can put this one on top of that and stop that leak, okay? And this one may require two gaskets. But right now I'm gonna put this one on. Set that there. All right, so the diaphragm goes first. Diaphragm touches the tank, then the gasket. All right, and now we got our carburetor. I'm looking at it. It looks okay. It is. I'll have to get the little rubber gasket and the clip that holds that in. And of course, I'll need that little grommet on there. But this looks pretty good, pretty clean. So obviously, I've cleaned this, and I always have that little mark on the emulsion tube jet pointed this way instead of over there. That tells me I've cleaned this one already. All right, so let's put this guy in here. So you want your pickup tube to go there. This with the air screen on it, or the fuel filter screen on it, goes this way. So you kind of come in at an angle like that and drop that down. And of course this thing's wanting to move around and everything. So again, get you a little screwdriver or something that you can, yeah, see, okay. So that's lined up, all right? The ones I do first, let me clean that off a little bit. Oh, got a screw here. These are the screws to that filthy carburetor over there. Man, they are filthy, so I gotta clean the screw head off of this thing. So I can even get a screwdriver to it. So I'm gonna set this one in there. Got that one. And that one's pretty clean. Lucky me, it's clean. All right. And now we're going to drop this one in. And this is sometimes kind of tricky to get these to line up. And so sometimes I go ahead and put the screws in and then lay it in here. But in this case, I'm doing it this way today. Let's see, I need a Phillips head. Where did it go? Where did it go? Hold on, people. Let me grab one. Hang on a second. I had that Had that right there. And now I don't. Hold on. There we go. This one will do. So I don't want this little carb to move around too much because the gas and the diaphragm's pretty lined up. So I'm going to try to ease that in there, do a couple little baby turn there. And check it again, make sure that, yep, that's good. So I don't have diaphragm stuck in blocking that screw hole that I would then tear up with these, so that's good. Check this one. Yep, that's good. Get this one started. Okay, and this is the fifth one, see? So, and like I said, the sixth one is the one that holds the air filter on. So I'm going to cinch these up. You have to be too tight because the base of these screws is going into plastic. So you don't want to be like torquing this thing down. That one's seated pretty well. That one's seated pretty well. One more here. Okay. So once they're in, then a little half turn there. I'm starting to get a little half turn there, then come on the opposite side, little half turn there. Get it where it's touching, starting to get snug, half turn there, and go around and snug these up. Okay, that one I could tell hit, that one's snug, that one's snug, that one's snug, that one's snug, okay? So now we've got this thing installed. And now we have to test this and see if it primes. So I'm going to put a little bit of gasoline in here. I'm going to do that. I'm going to count to about 13 with this. I've done this so many times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, that'll be enough to reach that pickup tube and test it to see if it's priming. And I don't know, you might be able to hear the sound of this, okay? So I'm gonna press this, and this is gonna tell me if my old diaphragm that I just put is functioning or not. If it's not, then I'll take it all apart and I'll put a new one in. But let's see if it's gonna prime. Okay, so the throttle is open that way. You should either see it or hear it hit that plastic there. Okay. So I'm getting nothing. It's not picking up anything. Make sure everything's snug here. So I'm going to take all this off. That's loose. That's loose. That one loose over there. Okay, I think this may come out now. And see, it hadn't drawn any fuel up. Doesn't look like there's much fuel in there. Maybe I shouldn't have given up on that thing so fast. Put a little more gas in there. Okay, that ought to be enough fuel to test this guy. I'm not quite ready to give up on this thing. Here, let me try this again. May not have enough fuel in there. The more I looked at it. Usually when I count to 13, that's about right. Because I don't want to overfill this thing because I'm still trying to work with it. Okay, snug. 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 Yeah. Okay, there's something wrong either with the carburetor or with the diaphragm and gasket combo. So this is coming off. It's coming off. Trial and error. And sometimes you can hear it pulling the fuel up, but man, there was nothing there. I mean, zip. Everything was completely dry when I took it off. So. Yeah, I don't see it pulled up any fuel at all. Going off of there. I just feel like that gasket and diaphragm ought to be okay just based on its appearance. So let me grab another carburetor, try that. All right, we're going to go to plan B here and just get another tank carburetor combination. Maybe find one. I was hoping to add a clean carburetor, but I don't, so I'm going to go into my box of tanks and carburetors. For this one. Pick another one. All right, so let's try that guy. That looks to be pretty nice shape. Let me get the fuel. Let me set this, because I still think that might be good. Let me get these things over here. Get this fuel in here. Okay. So now we'll test this little carburetor and see if it primes. The throttle is open. You should see it come out and hit that plastic right there. There ought to be enough fuel. Doesn't prime either. All right, so now we'll try another tank. Carburetor combination. I made a note to myself on this one that says check the tank for leaks and test for prime before installing. So, I'm getting desperate now. I want to get one that's going to prime. So these all need work. So here we go. Let me try this now. There we go. Yay. All right, got the fuel in that one. Let's see if I can clean that up a little bit. All right, I don't see any leaks. Listen to that, hear that? Okay, there we go. Work. Okay, so this one's priming. So this one will go on Diane. Jack and Diane. Let me set these off to the side. They all need work, that you all could see. That thing primed great. Let me set these out. Get them out of the way. We'll get Diane up on the table. You believe that? That is funky. That tank is gonna go on to Diane and be great. All right, let's get her up here. By the way, my last video, this is the $500 clump of grass. This was stuck between a blade and a deck, and the previous homeowner who gave the mower away said it was locked up. It was locked up because of this piece of grass right here. It was a $500 mower. Here comes Diane. right, that all looks pretty good. Pretty clean, pretty nice. I do see a twig stuck right there, so you get that out. And sometimes that's a sign of a mice infestation. So before I start putting this tank on here, let's see if we've got some wildlife, signs of wildlife under this rewinder. Let's see. I don't think I've been under there, or else I would have seen that stick there. So use my power drill on this. Get my 3/8 sockets. Where are you? Where are you? There you are. I got that. Make sure this is all in the camera. It's not, of course. Let me back up a little bit. There we go. I guess that's a little better. Okay. So I got that 3/8 out. Get this one out. On this side, there's 3 of them. Okay, now this puppy should come off and see if well, it's not too bad, not too bad. And there's some critters stuck up in the rewinder. That's never good, so I'm gonna get that out of there. At least give them some room to go out and hit the starter cup. Get that trash out of there. Something was starting to nest. Mr. Mouse. Mickey. Gap on that looks okay. And this thing did fire, so I'm not going to bother to look at the flywheel key. And I think I'll put this on, put this tank on, just cover off. That way you can see things better. Let me make sure that's in the camera view. Yeah. A little high, yeah, right in there. Okay, so you want to hook this thing right here. You can see that air vane moving. That's what controls the throttle based on the demand load of the engine. Turn the little grommet around. Yes, I do have a gasket and a clip there. And sometimes I'll put a drop of oil on there if I'm worried about it not sliding on easy. Oh, let me show you this. You always want to check this. That's stiff, okay. Sometimes those will be loose. You got to tighten up those 1/4 inch screws over there, but it's snug. It's very snug. Okay, come on, baby. All right, let's go along there. Make sure that little grommet's where it's supposed to be. If that hole's lined up there, that means you've got in the right spot. So I'm going to just move it just a tad. Bada bing, that one's in there. And now we get the big one. The big one. And the big screw that holds the tank on. Let's see. I moved it to a different magnetic dish maybe. There you are. This one, this big thing. You definitely do not want to put this tank on without this spacer in, okay? Because you'll break your tank and then you're doomed. So I'm going to hold this here, and then I got it, the spacer in place, put the screw in. That's a pretty good position. All right, let's see if I can get it started. Okay, I don't want to tighten that one until I get this one pretty snug. I want to balance that. All right, let's see, where's another, oh yeah. We'll use this guy. A little bit tight. Okay, now I can put the 1/2 on here and use the wrench on this one and get it snug. But before I do that, I want to put my screw. Let me show. This is kind of important. Makes it easy on you. See, I want to put this screw in here so that that stays in the same position. Okay, so it's a little bit snug. I'm going to pull it up there. See, the magnet's pulling it now. So I'm going to get that started there. Because if I cinch this thing down too much, then this one is not going to want to go in where that screw goes. Okay, so now that I've got that in there, that's where it belongs. Now I can tighten this. So that's tight, and that's where it belongs. See, if I snugged it up, this thing might have been out of position. All right, let me put this camera back here. Okay. That all looks good. We know it's priming. So let's put this back on, and we'll be pulling the cord on this thing pretty soon. Oh yeah, let me show you this. This for testing. I've got a temporary kill switch on here. This is a rubber band, and that's just to keep it away from killing the engine. So when I want to, if it does run, then I'm going to kill the engine by doing that. See, it comes over, that kills it right there. And then if I want it to run, that rubber band will pull it back. But that's just temporary. Just for testing. Okay. So that is all snug. And the question is this operating the way it's supposed to? It is. There's not very much spring pressure on this throttle. Very little. So that's what you want. This now on the other type where you have the automatic governor that comes up here, there's a lot of spring tension on those. But this is just very delicate situation there. So when this mower is running and the flywheel is spinning, that air blows this out to about there before the springs counteract that, and you have this balance that controls the air-fuel mixture. So you got opposite force. You have this force here, then you have the springs holding it this way. And so when it's running, the ideal place is kind of right there. It'll be running great, and that little V of that throttle will be pretty much in the center, maybe a little bit over like that. But see, there's not a bunch of spring tension on that, and that's really what you want. So let's put the cover back on. So you know how to do that. I'm going to pause this and come back, and we're going to pull the cord on this thing. We're going to see if it starts and runs or if it smokes like a chimney. So I'm going to shut this off and stay tuned.